Hey, good morning, y'all. One coach's opinion. Trying to get back in the swing of things, Just my opinion, I want to say that. That's all. We all have them. Today I want to talk about the Ronda Rousey, Holm fight. Everybody's talking about it, Ronda has to, of course, go through all the skits and all the jokes and all the Facebook videos and all the recreations of a loss. But that's what champions like herself have to go through. When I say champions like herself, I mean champions that the realm of their sport takes place outside of the ring as well as inside the ring. Like the Floyd Mayweather, like the Adrian Broners, now like the Ronda Rouseys and the Conor McGregors and stuff like that. Stuff they say outside the ring that goes into the ring when they go to fight. And all the stuff she said, all the accolades that she was given, it's a lot of people that have to atone for the, let's say, throne that they put her on. Such as, if it's true, it could be, I don't know, but I'm thinking it is. If it's true, if she's on the cover of the Ringside magazine, and the article actually does say Ronda could have got a gold medal in boxing. And I don't know who has to eat this pie and who just looked at all the boxers and said that Ronda could have beat them. And now, after seeing what just happened, I mean, do you still feel the same? I mean, I don't know what made you think that too. I don't know what made you watch a video of her and Vic Darchinyan and said, oh yeah, she has hands. But Holly Holmes purely showed that she doesn't have hands when it comes to boxing. And let me say this. Holly Holm did a lot of things besides boxing to win this fight. The kicks, the front kicks, that kept her off balance, along with her boxing skills, along with her ground defense, along with her clinch defense. You know what I'm saying? But anybody can very well see that those punches weren't the average MMA punch. She put a lot of body weight behind those punches. They were precise. Come on, she hit Ronda with like 5 or 6 crosses. Lead crosses, not jabs. Lead crosses in a row. And Ronda was defenseless. Did not know what to do whatsoever when it came to those punches. And the classic spin under the hook, which left Ronda Rousey on the ground, basically crawling on the ground and turning around. You can see in Ronda Rousey's demeanor after that she had almost given up. That she had never been in this type of predicament before. The angles and the footwork that come along with the boxing element of this set up kicks and set up a lot more. But you got to give the boxing credit, but you can't give the boxing full credit because that would be a smack in the face to anybody that worked on her kicking those lead elbows that she was landing off the footwork. You know what I'm saying? It would take all from that. So it's nowhere in the world that anybody could say, I told you a boxer could beat an MMA fighter based on this. If you do, you just really don't understand these sports whatsoever. But you cannot say that boxing didn't have a lot to do with the Holly Holm victory because she's coming from over 30 plus professional boxing matches. So it'd be ridiculous not to give her credit for what she put in a lot of hard work in doing before she got to MMA. I think you do 30 something and with 2 losses and maybe 2 draws or something like that. I'm not sure, but I know that's close. But how can you take that from her? How can you just take that out of her repertoire and say, okay, yeah, the boxing didn't do it. The boxing did it The Muay Thai, I see Muay Thai in there doing it. I seen a lot of good striking going on, and like I said, I seen a lot of ground defense going on too. You know, and not getting taken to the ground and defending off Ronda Rousey. So for everybody that wants to say, you know, and wants to take this fight and try to make one sport better than the other, you can't, because they're not the same sports. It's two different sports entirely. And the only thing they have in common, is punches. They even fought different. You know, they're fought different. One's fought in a cage, and one is fought in the ring. One you could do a lot of hustling and holding and stuff like that, and one you can't. One, if your knee or glove touch the ground, is considered a knockdown, and one it takes place a lot of times on the ground. I mean, I don't see how people are still, unless you just don't have nothing to talk about, I don't see how people are still trying to take the two sports and link them together as one, because you can't do it. And you can't, there's no way you can say one athlete in one sport could beat the other athlete in another sport too. It all depends on how the fight goes. It could be a 50-50 split, who knows? And I don't think, to be honest, we're ever gonna know, because whenever the boxer gets in there, they're gonna say the boxer was old and retired, which has happened in the past. And whenever the MMA fighter gets into boxing, you know what I'm saying? MMA fighters usually get into boxing to get their hands straight. They know it doesn't mean anything to their MMA career, so they take some pro boxing fights on the side. And some of them are actually pretty competitive in these sports, and some of them aren't. But that's not to say because they're MMA fighters they're not successful at that. They don't train like that. They just, you know, might take a fight because they're eligible to take a fight. And you can't say that none of them have never won. I mean, I know some MMA fighters that have won some pro boxing matches. You know, and I know a few pro boxers that tried MMA and say, yeah, I was winning MMA fights before I started boxing. So I mean, you know, it's never going to be a time where you could really, decide which one is the better sport, or which athlete will beat which athlete. It all depends on the situation. It all depends on what happens. You know what I'm saying? So stop trying to compare the two. You know what I'm saying? They're really not the same sport at all. You know what I'm saying? Hats off to Holly Holm. Hats off to Ronda Rousey for holding her championship like she did, for making the money that she did, for having the career that she has had. And hopefully, if she's a true champion, she can bounce back from this and make her mark in the UFC world again. Because she does have a lot to prove. I mean, you know, when you put yourself in the throne, it's hard for you to sit in a regular chair again. You know what I'm saying? You don't look right. So hopefully maybe she can overcome all the adversity that she's going through with all the, you know, the media stuff, and hopefully, you know, it makes her train harder and she comes back the better fighter than she was, you know. And hopefully she realizes that her hand skills aren't where she thinks they are. So, one coach's opinion, man. I just had to talk about this Ronda Rousey fight and the Holly Holm. Where's Holly Holm? I guess you could say the Holly Holm fight now. You know, I just want to talk about that because a lot of people are, you know, on the internet and they're dogging, you know, they're dogging MMA, they're dogging boxing, you know what I'm saying? When there's no need to dog either one, they're two different sports. So one coach's opinion, man. I'm signing off on this one, man. Hats off to Ronda Rousey. Hats off to Holly Holmes. Hats off to all the hard-working MMA fighters. Hats off to all the hard-working boxing fighters. Keep doing y'all thing, man.